Welcome to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry. And if you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, click the button, subscribe. Consider being a subscriber. Whether you're subscribed or not, click the thumbs up. All that help grows the channel, and I thank you for it. All right, Bears fans, let's get into it. Let's really get into it. As I started off last week, don't fall into the hype of the preseason. Of course, people that aren't better Bear fans like y'all, they fell into it. They did the thing I told them not to do, blowing up narratives about certain things that happened during a preseason game against third stringers. However, I wanted this week to let's talk about some of the things that are happening that are true with the Bears. Some things that I'm going to stand on, from two preseason games. So anyway, let's just go with the different areas. Let's go with coaching. I didn't say this last week, but I thought it, and this week I kind of doubled down on it. Luke Getsy is an upgrade, and I would just say the staff is an upgrade. Because I don't know what Eberflus has influence-wise with the offense. I don't know how all that is going. So I can't really speak to it. But whoever is the collective staff is doing a good job. Because, we could talk a whole lot about the Nagy era and Trubisky and all that good stuff. For the people that have been around, you've seen the film. You've seen me show it over and over again. We ran the same plays over and over and over and over again. Plays that weren't even good, schematically. And then, I showed you that over the few years of Trubisky playing, but you saw that same system. And so it's not just the Trubisky thing. It's not just the Nagy as a head coach thing. It's the whole offensive guru thing. And so we saw what Nagy was doing. And some people try to, again, blame it on Nagy. Some people try to blame it on Trubisky. Some, it's all over the place. But I will say watching Getsy already, or at least watching our offense, the play calling is more updated. It's more versatile. Now, this is the preseason where we don't know. I'm going to say we don't know. We won't see all the different things our offense and defense are going to do because people don't typically use the whole playbook in preseason games. So there's that. So we got to wait to see the regular season, what we do and exactly what the identity is. But even still, as a basic shell offense, this is way more up-to-date and versatile than Nagy. And so I've talked times about play calling. Again, people kind of blow things out of proportion. But this is, I think, a very significant thing that you can factually see. The way we line up, the formations and shifts we do, the play calls we have. And we've done some, I wouldn't say fancy, but some trick things here and there. But for the most part, if you look at our basic plays, if these are our basic plays, you can tell this is a way more up-to-date offense. Not only utilizing different concepts, but utilizing our players in different ways than we did before. All right, so going to the offense, look, Justin Fields, I don't know how many times I said this, but Justin Fields is a good quarterback. I was a fan of him as a prospect, and coming into the league, I was pretty much happy with what he was able to translate from college. And so we know the bad offensive line, we know the bad offense, we know all that. And so I'm pretty sure I told you throughout last year, he just got to have the opportunity to do that. And we weren't giving him a good opportunity. And going into this year, I didn't see us giving him a great opportunity either. So looking at tonight, looking at last week, especially tonight, I'm sure people are like, oh, man, because it's weird. It's like Well, never mind, I'm not going to get into that. So we saw that tonight. And so some people I'm sure are going to be like, oh my God, could he be Josh Allen? Could he be Russ Wilson? Could he, look how, yeah, we know what he can do. He showed it tonight a little bit and last week. And some people saying, okay, well, what is he? And I think you give any quarterback time, they're going to be better. You give Justin Fields time all day, every play, he's lethal. He's an elite quarterback in the league. The question is, are we going to be able to give him that time consistently with this offensive line? Right now, the answer is no, and everybody's not expecting a lot from this line. So that's the big thing. I never doubted anything about Justin Fields. And I knew that he could do anything you've seen him do so far. It wasn't a question for me. The question is the supporting cast, and that's still going to be the question going into this year. But don't make a mistake. I say this all the time. You can't compare quarterbacks. You can't. And so if you were to say Justin Fields versus XYZ quarterback, ask me this. If you put Justin Fields on that team, the other team, how do you think he would do? So you put him on the Chiefs, the past few Chiefs teams. You put him on the Bucks, whatever. What do you think he's going to do? So, anyway, there's that. Justin Fields is that guy. It's just going to depend if we develop him or support him to the point where he can develop good habits instead of bad habits. And that's the thing I'm worried about. So, offensive, this might be a shock to y'all. Tevin Jenkins is a Pro Bowl guard right now. Maybe all pro. Now, I ain't saying all pro as in natural, but with that type potential. And I know you're going to be like, oh, I thought you said don't go crazy. I told you we're going to get into it today. Here's the thing, and I'm going to try to be quick with it. Playing guard versus tackle is two different things. And I've said this before many times. It's the same thing like corner going to safety, tackle going to guard. It's just not as much asked of you in that position. So once a corner gets a little slow, falls off, we can move you to safety. You still, can do some things, but you just can't do it at the level needed to play that position. So anyway, the point is, I told you a lot of people could go into guard and look way better than they do at tackle. So the same thing said about Jenkins, or at least to cover it. I still think Jenkins could be a good right tackle. Good, solid starting right tackle in this league. But you put him into guard, that potential is even better. And so you would assume he's going to play better. I don't know if y'all watched him tonight. The man, again, there's no Pro Bowl guard that I've watched doing anything that much crazier than what I saw him do today. I told you every time I saw him, he's a people mover. He's big and not big for nothing. He's strong. He's one of those guys. Like defense, not even like regular any day defensive lineman. We're talking about huge defensive linemen. He could stop him and move him. So he's a big, strong dude. And then the effort he's put in, like I said, everything I saw last week, and I definitely said again this week, he looks fine to me. He looks like he liked playing ball. And so he was getting after it. I'm talking about pass protection and help blocking. I'm talking about one-on-one blocking. I'm talking about the run game. Now, the only thing I'll say is with the zone, that's not as good of a spot for him. Power run, Colts, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, stuff like that, he'd be amazing. But so the zone isn't his fit, but he's going to be good enough where he can handle his business. So he was getting after it. If you didn't really watch him, you're going to have to go back. That man was really getting after it. Another quarterback, Simeon. If you listen to me before, you know I like Simeon. I always thought he was pretty good. Not so far as like a star, but as a solid starter to complement the run game and defense, perfect. And so you can see against these backups, he knows exactly where to go. Exactly where to go. So if you was impressed by him, I've always been a fan of him. I would say we have one of the top backups in the league. One of the top backup quarterbacks in the league. So if that's a narrative you want to run with, I support that one. Who else we want to talk about? So if y'all didn't see this, go back to that play where one Seahawk and one Bear got hurt. Caleb Johnson, they hurt their knees. It's the second quarter, around 14 minutes and something. So that play, obviously 2 people got hurt, so they didn't really look into it too much. That play, before the injuries, Christian Lucas pancaked the life out of Travis Gibson. I'm talking about, if you want to talk about highlight reel stuff, he put his hands in his pads, ran them like 7 yards downfield, and put them on the ground. Go watch that. Christian Lucas, during my draft coverage, I told you, one of my favorite prospects for this draft. One of my favorite. And I was hoping against hope the Bears got him. I tried to tell y'all. And again, I'm going to throw this out here because it went on my list. Braxton's a guy. If Braxton can go through the trials of this year, because he's not great, and learn from it and continue to get better, by next year, that man's a 10-year starter at left tackle. A lot of the stuff I was worried about has not come true. He still got different technique things he got to work on, but physically, being able to put that weight and strength on and still have those feet, he's going to be a guy. Huge pick. But yeah, so going back to the draft, I wanted Christian Lucas bad. That was one of my top guys. I was like, I hope we get. And he fell past us. We passed him up a couple times. And so I came into this game excited. Again, if you watch me in the draft, you know a lot of people I like are on the Seahawks. So, and I love the Seahawks draft. Kenny Walker didn't play tonight, the running back, but they had Charles Cross at left tackle, and they had Christian Lucas at right tackle. Eventually. Now, Lucas is not starting for the Seahawks, and I don't know why. And I only say that because he came in like 2 drives after. And so Charles Cross started and he never came out. So obviously they might be rotating them. And then Lucas just stayed in throughout the whole half. But number 72, the man is good. He's solid. And I think he's going to end up starting for the Seahawks. So they got 2 guys that I really wish the Bears could have got somehow. But man, yeah. So anyway, Christian Lucas pancaked the life out of Travis Gibson. It was absolutely nasty. I think Lucas is going to be a guy, 100%. And then we have Velus Jones, who he looked good. He looked good on the return. He looked good. He really looked good in his short area movement, which I was worried about because he's a little stiff. But still, punt returning is different than running routes. So a guy with speed, a little bit of movement, I'm excited for him to return punts. That's cool. Or kickoffs. But as a receiver, we still got a lot to see. We've seen him running routes. It ain't like he burning everybody. So I think he still might be a little too stiff to be a big-time route runner. But we'll see. We'll see. I know people might be excited about him. And then we saw Kyler Gordon, our top pick. And he played in the slot a lot. I was a little interested by that. We know... we got Duke Shelley. We got a couple people that are rotating at that slot spot, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what type of defense we run. Maybe they was just getting a peek at him to see how he looked. But Kyler Gordon is not the type I would take as a slot receiver because one of the things I don't think he have is the hip flexibility. So that'd be curious to see what they end up doing with him. But yeah, I think those are most of the points I wanted to hit. So I think going into this year again, when we talking about leaning into the narratives, I do think we have the opportunities to win more games than people expect. Definitely not no Super Bowl. Definitely not no playoffs like some people are talking about. But I do think we have a chance to be 7-8 wins, which is more than a lot of people expect. But depending on, we do have a little bit of a soft schedule. So depending on who we play, we could pull those games out, I think. But even in saying that, still, the question is going to be how well do we hold up when we get into that live action? And so while we do have the opportunity, I think, as far as talent, question is, do we have the veteran experience? Do we have, all that to take advantage of those opportunities and maybe win some games we might not have? So that's it for me. All right, y'all. I'm going to go. I don't know why I said that. I meant go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.